Sharks and other sea creatures can turn a peaceful day at sea into a nightmare. Mako sharks, known for their speed and power, can attack with lightning-fast precision. Orcas, intelligent and strong, sometimes display aggressive behavior if they feel threatened. Even barracudas, with their sharp teeth and sudden bursts of speed, can pose a significant danger. From divers facing giant squids to surfers encountering great white sharks, these harrowing tales of survival against ocean predators will keep you on the edge of your seat. Discover the 6 most intense sea creature attacks ever recorded. It was July 15, 2001. Sarah Coleman, a 27-year-old tourist from Canada, had always dreamed of visiting the Great Barrier Reef. Today, she was at Coral Sands Beach, a remote and stunning spot in Queensland, Australia. The sun casts a golden glow over the turquoise waters, creating a perfect scene for her photography. Sarah had been in Australia for a few weeks, exploring the country and capturing every moment with her camera. She loved photography and had been documenting her trip, finding beauty in every corner. Coral Sands Beach was a quieter place, known for its clear waters and vibrant marine life. The Great Barrier Reef was home to many species, including the formidable tiger shark, which could grow up to 16 feet long and was a top predator in these waters. That morning, Sarah strolled along the shore, collecting shells and photographing the colorful fish near the surface. She was joined by her friends, Emma Richardson and James Parker, both fellow tourists from Canada. Emma was 28, an adventurous spirit with a love for snorkeling, while James, 30, was more interested in the marine biology of the reef. As the day progressed, the beach emptied, leaving the trio almost alone. Sarah decided to take advantage of the quieter beach to snap a selfie with the beautiful backdrop of the reef. She waded into the shallow water, the cool waves lapping against her legs. She was so focused on getting the perfect shot that she didn't notice the dark shadow moving beneath the surface. Unbeknownst to them, a tiger shark had been patrolling the area, drawn by the abundance of fish and the clarity of the water. The predator was closer to shore than usual, a rare and ominous occurrence. Meanwhile, the lifeguard on duty, Mark Stevens, a seasoned professional with years of experience, noticed the unusual activity in the water. He was keeping an eye on the few remaining beachgoers, ensuring their safety. Mark had encountered sharks before, but this one seemed different, more aggressive and curious. Sarah adjusted her camera, oblivious to the impending danger. Suddenly, the tiger shark lunged from the water, its massive jaws clamping down on her leg with terrifying force. The serene beach turned into chaos. Sarah's scream was muffled by the waves as she struggled to free herself. Emma and James, standing on the shore, saw the attack unfold. Emma, an experienced swimmer, dove into the water without hesitation. James grabbed a piece of driftwood and followed her, shouting for help. The few remaining beachgoers and lifeguards sprang into action, rushing to the scene. Mark Stevens, the lifeguard, blew his whistle and sprinted towards the water, yelling for backup. He grabbed a rescue board and paddled furiously towards Sarah. The shark thrashed violently, pulling Sarah under the water. Blood stained the clear waves, creating a horrifying sight. Sarah fought desperately, trying to kick the shark and pry its jaws open. The pain was excruciating, her vision blurring as she struggled to stay conscious. Emma reached Sarah first, grabbing her arm and trying to pull her away from the shark. She used her free hand to hit the shark's nose, hoping to startle it into letting go. James arrived moments later, swinging the driftwood with all his strength, aiming for the shark's eyes and gills. The lifeguards joined the fray, using sticks and boards to strike the predator. The shark's eyes rolled back as it bit down harder, its powerful jaws crushing bone and muscle. Sarah's screams grew weaker as her energy faded. Emma and James kept fighting, their strikes growing more frantic as the shark showed no sign of releasing its hold. The lifeguards managed to get a rope around Sarah's waist, pulling with all their might. Mark Stevens and another lifeguard, Rachel Hayes, coordinated their efforts to rescue Sarah. Rachel grabbed a nearby surfboard and paddled out, using it as a barrier between Sarah and the shark. She jabbed the board at the shark's side, trying to drive it away. The shark, agitated and in pain, started to release its grip. After what felt like an eternity, the shark finally let go, retreating into the depths. Sarah was pulled from the water, her leg mangled and bleeding profusely. The beachgoers and lifeguards quickly formed a makeshift tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Emma held Sarah's hand, trying to keep her conscious, while James called for medical help. The ordeal wasn't over yet. The shark lingered near the shore, its fin cutting through the water menacingly. Mark and Rachel stayed close, ready to intervene if it came back. Other lifeguards arrived with more equipment, creating a human barrier to protect the remaining beachgoers. Sarah was in shock, her face pale and her eyes wide with fear. The pain was overwhelming, but she clung to Emma and James, drawing strength from their presence. The ambulance arrived quickly, and Sarah was rushed to the nearest hospital. On the ride to the hospital, the paramedics worked to stabilize Sarah. They administered pain relief and monitored her vitals closely. Emma and James followed the ambulance in their rental car, their hearts pounding with fear and concern. Sarah underwent multiple surgeries to repair the extensive damage to her leg. The shark's teeth had torn through muscle and bone, leaving deep wounds. Doctors worked tirelessly to save her leg and prevent infection. Sarah's recovery was slow and painful, but she was grateful to be alive. In the end, Sarah returned to Canada with a deeper appreciation for life. She continued her passion for photography, capturing the beauty of nature with a renewed sense of respect and wonder. Emma and James, forever changed by the experience, remained close friends, their lives intertwined by the events of that fateful day at Coral Sands Beach. In the heart of the Indian Ocean, off the coast of India, lies the mysterious submerged village of Dwara. On August 15, 2003, the sun beamed down on the sparkling waters, reflecting a calm serenity that belied the hidden dangers below. Among the seasoned divers exploring these depths was Tom Sanders, known for his bravery and expertise in deep-sea diving. He was joined by his fellow divers, Alan Brooks and Lisa Thompson. The trio was set to explore the renowned wreck of the SS Horizon, a cargo ship that had met its fate decades ago, leaving behind a treasure trove of history and intrigue. Tom was fascinated by the tales of the SS Horizon. Rumors of its cargo and the mystery surrounding its sinking had drawn him to this spot. The village of Dwara, once a thriving community, had sunk into the ocean following an earthquake centuries ago. Now it served as a unique underwater attraction, teeming with marine life and remnants of a bygone era. The Indian Ocean, particularly around Dwara, was known for its diverse marine ecosystem. Among the many creatures that called these waters home was the elusive giant squid. These deep-sea dwellers were rarely seen by humans, adding an element of mystery to their existence. Giant squids, with their massive size and long tentacles, were both fascinating and terrifying. They were known to be highly intelligent, using their keen senses to navigate the dark depths of the ocean. The divers prepared their equipment meticulously. Each checked their oxygen tanks, regulators, and wetsuits, ensuring everything was in perfect working order. Tom, Alan, and Lisa had been diving together for years, and their unspoken camaraderie was evident in their synchronized movements. They were a well-oiled machine, each knowing their role and trusting the others implicitly. As they descended into the depths, the world above faded away, replaced by the eerie stillness of the underwater realm. The wreck of the SS Horizon loomed ahead, its once mighty structure now a ghostly silhouette against the deep blue. Fish darted in and out of the crevices, and corals had made the ship their home, creating a vibrant tapestry of life against the rusting metal. Tom led the way, his powerful strokes propelling him toward the ship. Alan and Lisa followed closely, their eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. The interior of the SS Horizon was a labyrinth of corridors and rooms, each holding secrets of the past. They swam through the ship, their flashlights cutting through the murky water, revealing glimpses of the past. Tom's mind wandered to the stories he'd heard about the giant squid. Though rare, encounters with these creatures were often the stuff of nightmares. Their size and strength were formidable, and their ability to blend into the darkness made them almost invisible until it was too late. But Tom was not easily deterred. His love for the ocean and its mysteries outweighed his fear. The trio spent hours exploring the wreck, documenting their findings and marveling at the marine life that had claimed the ship as their own. Tom was in his element, completely absorbed in the task at hand. The thrill of discovery and the beauty of the underwater world were intoxicating. As the day wore on, the divers decided to venture deeper into the wreck. Tom felt a sense of unease as they moved further into the ship's dark recesses. The narrow passages and the oppressive weight of the water above created an almost claustrophobic atmosphere. But Tom pressed on, driven by curiosity and the desire to uncover more of the ship's secrets. Little did he know that this decision would lead him into a confrontation with one of the ocean's most formidable predators. The stage was set for a harrowing encounter that would test Tom's skills and resolve like never before. Tom swam ahead, his flashlight piercing the darkness of the ship's lower decks. The water was colder here, and visibility was limited. He motioned for Alan and Lisa to stay close, his instincts telling him that something was amiss. As they rounded a corner, Tom's flashlight beam caught something large and moving. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest. Emerging from the shadows was a giant squid, its enormous eyes reflecting the light with an almost otherworldly glow. The creature's tentacles writhed menacingly, sensing the intruders in its domain. Startled by the sudden light and movement, the squid reacted instinctively, lashing out with its tentacles. One of the tentacles wrapped around Tom's leg, pulling him with surprising force. He struggled, kicking out with his free leg, but the squid's grip was relentless. The creature's tentacles were covered in powerful suction cups, each one a vice-like grip that threatened to crush his limbs. Alan and Lisa watched in horror as Tom was dragged deeper into the wreck, their own fear paralyzing them momentarily. Tom's training kicked in as he fought to free himself. He reached for his dive knife, slicing at the tentacle wrapped around his leg. The squid responded by tightening its grip, pulling him closer to its massive body. Tom could see the creature's beak, a sharp, menacing feature that could easily tear through flesh and bone. Desperation set in as Tom's oxygen supply dwindled. He had minutes, maybe less, to escape the squid's clutches and reach the surface. He used his knife with renewed vigor, slashing at the tentacle with all his strength. The squid recoiled, loosening its grip just enough for Tom to break free. But the danger was far from over. The squid, now enraged, lashed out with more tentacles, wrapping around Tom's torso and arms. The pressure was immense, squeezing the air from his lungs and making it difficult to breathe. Tom knew he had to act fast. He grabbed a nearby metal pipe, using it as a lever to pry himself free. The squid's tentacles were powerful, but Tom's determination was stronger. With a final, desperate effort, Tom managed to free himself from the squid's grasp. He pushed off from the wreck, swimming with all his remaining strength towards the light above. Alan and Lisa were already ascending, their eyes wide with fear and concern. They waited for Tom, ready to assist if needed. Tom's lungs burned as he ascended, and the lack of oxygen made his vision blur. He focused on the surface, willing himself to keep moving. The giant squid, sensing its prey escaping, made one last attempt to catch Tom, but it was too late. Tom broke the surface, gasping for air, his body trembling from the ordeal. Alan and Lisa were at his side in an instant, helping him onto the dive boat. Tom collapsed, his body exhausted but his mind racing. The encounter had been terrifying, a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked beneath the ocean's surface. But Tom was alive, and his experience had only deepened his respect for the sea and its inhabitants. The divers returned to shore, their adventure leaving them with a renewed sense of caution and awe. The story of their encounter with the giant squid would become a part of their shared history, a tale of survival and the indomitable spirit of exploration. Tom knew he would return to the depths one day, but for now, he was content to breathe the air and feel the warmth of the sun on his face, grateful for the life he had and the adventures still to come. On a crisp morning in April 2005, Jake Miller, a skilled surfer, stood on the sandy shores of False Bay, South Africa. Known for its perfect waves and stunning views, False Bay was a haven for surfers like Jake. The sun had just begun to rise, casting a golden glow over the water. The beach was quiet, with only the sound of waves crashing against the shore breaking the silence. Jake had been surfing for most of his life. Growing up in Cape Town, he spent countless hours mastering the waves. Today was no different. He felt a thrill every time he paddled out into the ocean, waiting for that perfect wave. His friends, Mark Wilson and Amy Lewis, often joined him, but today he was alone, seeking the solitude that early morning surfing offered. False Bay was not only famous for its waves, but also for its marine life. It was home to one of the ocean's most feared predators, the great white shark. These sharks were often seen in the waters, drawn by the abundance of seals, their primary prey. Great white sharks could grow up to 20 feet in length and weigh over 5,000 pounds. Their sheer size and power made them formidable hunters. Despite their fearsome reputation, attacks on humans were rare. Sharks were usually more interested in seals and fish than people. Jake was well aware of the risks. He had encountered sharks before, but his respect for these creatures outweighed his fear. He knew how to stay safe, understanding their behavior and the currents that flowed through False Bay. His surfboard, painted with black and white stripes, was designed to deter sharks, mimicking the appearance of sea snakes, which sharks tended to avoid. The date was April 12, 2005. Jake had woken up before dawn, driven by the anticipation of catching the early waves. The water was calm, the perfect conditions for a good surf. As he paddled out, the cool ocean breeze filled his lungs, and he felt a sense of freedom that only the ocean could provide. He glanced back at the shore, seeing the distant figures of early risers walking along the beach. He was alone in the water, surrounded by the vast expanse of the sea. The first few waves were perfect. Jake rode them with ease, his body moving in sync with the board and the water. Each wave carried him closer to shore, only to paddle back out and catch another. The rhythm was meditative, and he lost himself in the flow of the ocean. Time seemed to stand still as he surfed, the sun climbing higher in the sky. As he waited for the next wave, something caught his eye. A large fin sliced through the water, moving with purpose. His heart skipped a beat as he recognized the unmistakable outline of a great white shark. It was heading in his direction, drawn by the movement of his board and the splashes he made as he paddled. Jake's mind raced. He knew he had to stay calm. Panic would only attract the shark. He began to paddle slowly towards the shore, keeping his movement smooth and steady. The shark continued to circle, its dark shape visible beneath the surface. Jake could feel his pulse quicken, but he forced himself to focus. He needed to remember everything he knew about shark behavior. He knew that sudden movements could provoke an attack. He also knew that sharks were curious creatures, often investigating before deciding to strike. The distance to the shore seemed to stretch endlessly. Jake's muscles burned with the effort, but he didn't stop. He kept his eyes on the beach, the safety it promised driving him forward. The shark's fin disappeared beneath the water, and Jake knew it was still close, possibly just beneath him. The thought sent a chill down his spine, but he pushed the fear aside. He had to keep moving. The waves had picked up, and Jake used them to his advantage, riding each one closer to the shore. The shark remained a constant presence, a shadow that refused to let him out of its sight. The beach was getting closer, but the shark was closing in. He could see people on the shore now, unaware of the drama unfolding in the water. He was on his own, relying solely on his skills and knowledge to escape. Jake's arms were burning from the effort, but he couldn't afford to slow down. He glanced over his shoulder, hoping to see the shark moving away, but instead he saw it was gaining on him. The massive predator was close enough now that he could see the rows of sharp teeth inside its open mouth. It was a sight that sent a surge of adrenaline through his body. The shark's behavior changed. It was no longer just curious. It began to circle more aggressively, and Jake knew an attack was imminent. He needed to act fast. He angled his board towards a larger wave, hoping to use its power to speed up his escape. The wave lifted him, and he rode it with all his might, the shore drawing nearer with each second. But the shark was not deterred. It surged forward, its powerful tail propelling it through the water at an alarming speed. Jake felt a jolt as the shark's snout bumped his board, nearly knocking him off. He managed to stay on, but he knew he couldn't take another hit like that. The shark's next move would be more aggressive. Jake remembered something he had read about sharks being sensitive to sudden impacts. In a desperate move, he turned his board sharply, causing the shark to momentarily lose its momentum. He grabbed the small knife strapped to his leg, ready to defend himself if necessary. The shark came at him again, and this time Jake was ready. He struck out with the knife, hitting the shark's sensitive snout. The shark recoiled, stunned by the unexpected resistance. The momentary distraction gave Jake a crucial advantage. He paddled with renewed vigor, his muscles screaming in protest. The beach was so close now. He could see the details of the sand and the rocks. He pushed through the pain, each stroke bringing him closer to safety. The shark, though momentarily deterred, was not giving up. It came at Jake again, this time from the side. He saw the dark shape approach and braced himself for impact. The shark's body collided with his board, sending him tumbling into the water. Panic surged through him as he fought to get back on his board. The water around him churned, and he could feel the shark's presence close by. Jake's training kicked in. He knew he had to stay calm and keep moving. He managed to climb back onto his board, his hands shaking from the effort. The shark was circling again, preparing for another strike. Jake could see the beach now, tantalizingly close. He paddled with everything he had left, his body screaming for relief. The shark came at him one last time, its jaws wide open. Jake kicked out with his legs, aiming for the shark's snout. He felt his foot connect and the shark veered off course, confused by the unexpected attack. It was just enough. Jake caught a final wave and rode it to the shore, collapsing onto the sand as the wave broke around him. People on the beach rushed to his aid, pulling him away from the water's edge. Jake lay on the sand, his chest heaving as he tried to catch his breath. He was exhausted, but he was alive. The great white shark had retreated, disappearing back into the depths of False Bay. Jake's encounter with the shark was a stark reminder of the ocean's dangers, but it also reinforced his respect for the powerful creatures that inhabited the sea. He knew he would return to the water, but with a renewed sense of caution and awe. The ocean was a beautiful and formidable force, and Jake was determined to continue his adventures, always aware of the balance between man and nature. On a crisp morning in July 2007, Maya Williams, an adventure enthusiast, prepared for a solo kayaking trip in the icy waters of the Pacific Northwest. The sun had just begun to rise over the tranquil waters of Orca Bay, located off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. The morning was still and quiet, with only the gentle lapping of waves against her kayak breaking the silence. Maya, 32, had always been drawn to the ocean. Growing up in Vancouver, she spent her free time exploring the coastline and its rich marine life. Today, she was eager to explore Orca Bay, known for its stunning scenery and diverse wildlife. This part of the Pacific Northwest was renowned for its pods of orcas, also known as killer whales. These magnificent creatures with their black and white markings were a sight to behold. Orcas, though often seen as gentle giants, are powerful predators. They are highly intelligent social animals that live in tight-knit family groups called pods. Each pod is led by a dominant male, who protects his family and ensures their safety. While orcas are generally not a threat to humans, they can be unpredictable, especially when they feel threatened. Maya launched her kayak from a small beach. The water was chilly but invigorating. She paddled out into the bay, the rhythmic motion of her strokes calming her nerves. The ocean was vast and endless, a reminder of her smallness in the face of nature's grandeur. She felt a deep sense of peace as she glided across the water, her kayak slicing through the waves with ease. As she paddled further out, Maya spotted a pod of orcas in the distance. Her heart leaped with excitement. She had always dreamed of seeing these majestic creatures up close. She slowed her pace, hoping to get a better view without disturbing them. The pod was a mix of adults and calves, their sleek bodies moving gracefully through the water. Maya marveled at their beauty, feeling a deep connection to the ocean and its inhabitants. She watched as the orcas breached and played, their sheer size and power awe-inspiring. She felt a sense of privilege to witness such a natural spectacle. The date was July 15, 2007. Maya had taken a week off work to immerse herself in nature, to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. She had spent the previous days hiking and camping along the coast, but today was dedicated to kayaking. The weather was perfect, the sky was clear, and the sea was calm. She felt alive and invigorated, ready for whatever the day might bring. Little did she know that her peaceful morning was about to take a dramatic turn. As she paddled closer to the pod, she noticed a large male orca, the pod's leader, watching her intently. His size and presence were imposing, a stark reminder of the power these creatures held. Maya's heart quickened. She knew she had to be cautious and show respect for the orca's space. The large male orca, sensing an unfamiliar presence near his pod, began to move towards Maya. His movements were deliberate and powerful, causing ripples that rocked her kayak. Maya felt a jolt of fear but tried to remain calm. She knew that sudden movements could be seen as a threat. The orca circled her kayak, his eyes locked on her. Maya tried to paddle away slowly, hoping to signal that she meant no harm. But the orca's behavior grew more aggressive. He rammed the side of her kayak with his massive body, nearly tipping her over. Maya gripped her paddle tightly, struggling to maintain her balance. The cold water splashed over her, a stark reminder of the danger she was in. Maya's mind raced. She had read about orca behavior and knew that they were protective of their pods. She needed to find a way to communicate that she was not a threat. The orca rammed her kayak again, harder this time. The force of the impact sent a wave of fear through her. She could feel the kayak tipping, and she fought to stay upright. The water was freezing, and Maya knew that if she ended up in the water, hypothermia would set in quickly. She tried to paddle away, but the orca was relentless. He continued to ram her kayak, each hit more powerful than the last. Maya's arms ached from the effort, but she couldn't stop. She had to find a way to survive. In a desperate attempt to communicate her intentions, Maya stopped paddling and let her kayak drift. She hoped that by showing submission, the orca would understand that she posed no threat. The orca paused, watching her closely. Maya's heart pounded in her chest as she waited, unsure of what would happen next. The orca moved closer, his massive body casting a shadow over her kayak. Maya could see the intelligence in his eyes, the curiosity mixed with caution. She held her breath, praying that he would understand. The orca circled her kayak one last time, then slowly began to move away. Maya let out a sigh of relief, her body trembling from the cold and the adrenaline. She watched as the orca rejoined his pod, his protective instincts satisfied. Maya paddled slowly towards the shore, her mind reeling from the encounter. She had faced one of nature's most powerful predators and survived. The experience left her with a deep respect for the ocean and its inhabitants. She knew that she had been lucky, and she vowed to always show respect and caution in the wild. As Maya reached the shore, she looked back at the water, feeling a sense of gratitude and awe. The encounter had tested her resilience and her respect for the ocean's majestic yet dangerous creatures. She knew that she would return to the water, but with a renewed sense of humility and appreciation for the powerful forces of nature. The experience had changed her, deepening her connection to the ocean and its inhabitants. Maya felt a sense of peace as she packed up her kayak, and the memory of the encounter was a testament to her respect for the natural world. In June 2009, Emily Foster, a marine biology student, set out on a snorkeling expedition in the warm waters of Bonaire, an island in the Caribbean. Bonaire, part of the Dutch Caribbean, is known for its vibrant coral reefs and rich marine life. The clear waters and diverse underwater ecosystems make it a prime location for marine studies. Emily, 22, had always been passionate about the ocean. Her fascination with marine life led her to pursue a degree in marine biology at a prestigious university. She had traveled to Bonaire to research the health of coral reefs, aiming to understand the impacts of climate change on these delicate ecosystems. She was eager to observe the colorful corals, schools of fish, and other marine creatures in their natural habitat. On the morning of June 20th, 2009, Emily prepared for her dive. The sun was shining brightly and the water was calm and inviting. She donned her snorkeling gear, checked her underwater camera, and made sure she had all the necessary equipment. The boat ride to the snorkeling site was smooth, and the anticipation of the day's discoveries filled her with excitement. Emily's chosen study area was a section of the reef known for its biodiversity. The waters around Bonaire were home to many marine species, including the barracuda, a sleek, predatory fish known for its speed and sharp teeth. Barracudas are often seen gliding through the water, their silver bodies reflecting the sunlight. While generally not aggressive towards humans, barracudas can become defensive if they feel threatened. As Emily slipped into the water, she was immediately captivated by the beauty beneath the surface. The coral formations were stunning, with intricate shapes and vibrant colors. Schools of fish darted around her, creating a mesmerizing dance of life. She swam slowly, taking in the sights and capturing photos for her research. The day had been perfect so far. Emily felt a deep connection to the underwater world. Her movements were fluid and graceful as she explored. She observed the different species of coral, noting their health and any signs of bleaching or disease. Her mind was focused on her work, but she also allowed herself to enjoy the sheer beauty of her surroundings. As she swam further from the boat, she spotted a school of barracudas. They were hovering near a large coral formation, their bodies nearly motionless except for the occasional flick of a tail. Emily knew she needed to be cautious. She admired their streamlined forms and the way they seemed to watch her with a mix of curiosity and wariness. Her day was going as planned, filled with data collection and the joy of discovery. Emily felt at peace in the water, her love for marine life growing with each dive. She had no idea that her serene exploration was about to take a dangerous turn. As Emily observed the barracudas, she accidentally swam too close to their territory. The sudden intrusion startled the school, causing them to scatter. One particularly large barracuda, feeling threatened, fixated on Emily. Its eyes locked onto her, and she could sense its agitation. Her heart began to race. The barracuda charged at her with lightning speed. Emily's calm underwater exploration turned into a frantic scramble for safety. She knew she had to act quickly. Drawing on her knowledge of marine behavior, she remembered that sudden movements could provoke further aggression. She tried to remain as calm as possible despite the surge of fear coursing through her veins. The predator's sharp teeth and powerful body were inches away from her. Emily kicked her fins, propelling herself away from the barracuda. She glanced back, only to see it still pursuing her, its sleek body cutting through the water with ease. The boat seemed so far away, and she doubted her ability to outswim the fast-moving fish. Emily's mind raced with possible solutions. She remembered hearing that barracudas were often deterred by shiny objects, as they could confuse them for prey. She had a small, reflective dive knife attached to her gear. She quickly unsheathed it, holding it out in the water to catch the sunlight. The reflection created a dazzling array of flashes, and she hoped it would be enough to divert the barracuda's attention. The predator hesitated, its eyes following the glints of light. Seizing the moment, Emily swam with all her strength towards the boat. Her muscles burned from the effort, but she couldn't afford to slow down. The barracuda, momentarily distracted, soon resumed its pursuit, but Emily had gained a crucial lead. As she neared the boat, her lungs screamed for air. She reached up, grabbed the edge of the boat, and pulled herself out of the water with a final burst of energy. She collapsed onto the deck, her body trembling from the adrenaline and exertion. Safe at last, she glanced back at the water, seeing the barracuda circling below before finally swimming away. Emily lay on the boat's deck, catching her breath and processing the harrowing experience. The encounter had tested her resilience and quick thinking. She realized how unpredictable and powerful the ocean could be. Her respect for the marine world had deepened, knowing firsthand the dangers that lurked beneath the surface. The rest of her trip was marked by a heightened sense of awareness. Emily continued her research with a newfound appreciation for the balance between observing marine life and respecting their space. She knew she would return to the water, but with a greater understanding of the delicate dance between humans and the ocean's inhabitants. The encounter with the barracuda was a stark reminder of nature's power, a lesson she would carry with her forever. In the summer of 2011, Paul Henderson, a seasoned fisherman, set out for a day of deep-sea fishing off the coast of Florida. The sun was shining brightly over the Atlantic Ocean, and the waters near Key Largo were calm and inviting. Paul had been fishing these waters for years, always looking for the thrill of the catch. On June 10th, he hoped to land something big. Paul, 45, had grown up in a small fishing town. He knew the sea like the back of his hand. His boat, the Sea Hunter, was well equipped with all the necessary gear for a successful fishing trip. He loved the solitude and the challenge of deep-sea fishing. Today, he was alone, enjoying the peace and quiet of the open water. As he navigated his boat to his favorite fishing spot, Paul felt a sense of excitement. The area was known for its abundant marine life, including various species of fish and sharks. Among them was the mako shark, a powerful predator known for its speed and agility. Mako sharks were impressive hunters, capable of leaping out of the water in pursuit of prey. Though rarely aggressive towards humans, their sheer strength made them formidable creatures. The morning was perfect. Paul cast his line and settled in, waiting for a bite. The gentle rocking of the boat and the sound of the waves were soothing. Hours passed, and Paul enjoyed the tranquility, occasionally adjusting his line and checking his equipment. He had caught a few smaller fish, but nothing worth writing home about. Around midday, Paul felt a strong tug on his line. His pulse quickened as he realized he had hooked something big. He began to reel it in, using all his strength to keep the fish on the line. The struggle was intense, the fish pulling with incredible force. Paul's muscles strained, but he was determined to land his catch. As the battle continued, the commotion attracted the attention of a nearby predator. A massive mako shark, drawn by the thrashing fish, appeared from the depths. Paul saw the shark's sleek, torpedo-shaped body gliding through the water. Its eyes locked onto the struggling fish. He knew he was in trouble. The shark was not interested in him, but in the easy meal on his line. The day, which had started with calm and peace, was about to turn into a fight for survival. The mako shark circled the boat, its presence creating waves that rocked the sea hunter. Paul's heart raced. He knew he had to act fast. The shark's sleek body and sharp teeth were a clear threat. As the shark made its first lunge, Paul saw the power and speed of the predator up close. The shark's jaws snapped shut around the fish on his line, severing it instantly. But the mako was not satisfied with just the fish. The commotion had excited the predator, and now it saw the boat as a potential source of food. The shark rammed the side of the boat, causing Paul to lose his footing and stumble. He grabbed onto the railing to steady himself, his mind racing with thoughts of how to fend off the shark. Paul reached for his fishing gear, grabbing a heavy gaff hook. The shark rammed the boat again, its powerful body causing significant impact. Paul knew he had to defend himself and his boat. He leaned over the side and jabbed at the shark with the gaff hook, hoping to deter it. The shark recoiled slightly, but then came back with renewed aggression. The shark's next strike was even more violent. It leaped out of the water, its body crashing against the side of the boat, sending water splashing onto the deck. Paul's adrenaline surged as he realized the severity of the situation. He needed to drive the shark away before it did more damage. Thinking quickly, Paul grabbed a metal bucket and filled it with fish guts from a recent catch. He threw the contents into the water away from the boat, hoping to distract the shark with an easier meal. The shark's keen sense of smell detected the bait, and it swam towards the bloody trail, temporarily diverted. Taking advantage of the momentary distraction, Paul started the boat's engine, aiming to put some distance between himself and the shark. The boat roared to life, and he steered it away from the area as quickly as he could. The shark followed briefly but then lost interest, drawn by the fish guts floating in the water. Paul didn't slow down until he was sure the shark was gone. His heart was still pounding as he navigated back toward shore. The encounter had shaken him, a stark reminder of the ocean's unpredictability and power. He knew he had been lucky to escape unharmed. As he reached the dock, Paul reflected on the day's events. The thrill of the catch had turned into a fight for survival, testing his skills and resolve. The experience deepened his respect for the ocean and its inhabitants. He knew he would return to the sea, but with a renewed sense of caution and awareness. Paul stepped off his boat, grateful to be on solid ground. The memory of the mako shark's attack would stay with him, a powerful reminder of the dangers that lurked beneath the waves. He had faced the predator and survived, his love for the sea tempered with a newfound respect for its raw power.